Well, good evening and welcome to Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Milesy and welcome to our World Cup special. Yes is right. A World Cup special. No Sky Blues this week, so we're going to concentrate on the old World Cup. It's all been going on the telly, and I mean, what a game today! it was like watching League Two football. I think that was, but. Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to be joined very shortly by Ken Stewart, and also we're going to be going live to Qatar we will be joining us, will be CJ Joyner and Dan Bartlett, who are out there having a few days. I think they're out there for a couple of weeks, to be honest with you, and they're going to give us a lowdown and how high-spirited the England fans are and what their expectations are, to be honest with you, especially tomorrow with the first game against Iran. We've also got a special announcement coming up later on, which please stay tuned for that because it's quite exciting and I'm sure you'll all be very pleased with that one. And we've got not one, but two competitions that will be coming on later on in the show. So a few goodies to be won. I'm just waiting for Ken, to be honest with you. If there's anyone out there watching, want to send us a little comment, please do. As I say, we're going to be talking about England and the World Cup. Maybe touch a little bit on Wales as well. See CJ and Dan have spoken to any Wales fans while they're out there. But I watched the game this afternoon. I was a little bit disappointed. I thought it was going to be a little bit better quality than it was, I suppose. Ecuador obviously just played Qatar off the field, to be honest with you, and it's probably one of those where that they're probably not even going to get a goal by the looks of the way they were playing today. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. A few empty seats after half time. It looked like the executive seats at Wembley, didn't it, today in the second half when no one come out to watch it. So let's have a look. So we've got a couple of comments straight away. Glenn's sent us a message. I hope you're feeling better, Glenn, because I know you've been under the weather today. So I hope you are feeling a lot better, mate. Qatar were pretty average. Yeah, they were really, weren't they? I think any team in the championship would have given them a good run for their money today. They didn't even threaten the goal, to be honest with you. So, it's just one of those. And then we got your dad come up here. Good evening, Russ. How are you, mate? Hope you're feeling all right, mate. Hello, Peaky Blinder. Yeah, I went to Peaky Blinders last night at the Black Country Museum. It was really good. Everyone's all dressed up, so we had a bit of a laugh down there. A few beers, stopped the night, and it was good. And they built a new pub, which is really smart. It's all set back in the old times, so I'm happy days with that one. And then we've got Reese. Who do you think will win the World Cup? Who are your underdogs? Well, hold on. We'll get Ken in and ask him that if he's just arrived, actually. So let's get him on board. He's all black. He's blacked out at the moment. You there, Ken, or
I'm
not?
here. I am here, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can't see you, but can hear you.
I don't quite. What's up with the camera for some reason? It's not coming on. I don't know why.
Oh, blimey. Never mind. Don't worry about it. It'll probably come on. Listen, Reese has just asked me who I think is going to win the World Cup and who are the underdogs. Well, I don't think France are going to win the World Cup because
No.
they've got about 6 injuries by the looks of it. So I don't think they're going to win it. But I reckon it'll probably be a South American team, to be honest with you, with the heat that's out there. It'd probably be just a bit too hot for us, I reckon. Underdogs wise, I'll keep an eye out. I know they're in our group, but maybe USA. I think USA and us will go through. We'll go through. Ken lost Ken again. He'll sort it out. We'll get him on in a minute. But maybe the USA. So us and the USA go through. I'll keep a lookout for them. So that'll be a good one. Who do you think, Reese? Text us in and let us know who do you think your World Cup winners are and underdogs, and anyone else that's watching. Please, chip in on that one. Who do you think is going to win the World Cup and who's your underdogs? We've got Webby here. Hi, Webby from Tenerife. Great to see you at QPR, mate. You vanished when I come to interview you at 2:00. You had gone. So I don't know where you went, mate. But great to see you. And QPR, who? Yeah, exactly. played them off the park. We're a bit like Ecuador today, weren't we? Just played the opposition team off the park. So we've got CJ and Dan coming up very shortly. They are in Qatar. They're in their apartment, they've told me. So we'll be speaking to them very soon. We've got Glenn's chipped in here. Argentina and Brazil are the form teams, and think Senegal might be a decent underdog if they get out of their group. Yeah, that's a good shout. I like that one. What's Webby put here now? Awesome Saturday in Boost's box. I bet it was. I bet you had too many beers as well, didn't you? Reese has gone Argentina to win the World Cup. Paul Webb's gone Brazil form team. Yeah, I accept that one. As I say, a South American team. I think the weather's going to suit them. Although, don't forget, we haven't had a break and our players are fit. So hopefully it might work. So, Boosty and JD wanted me at 2 p.m. Oh, okay. No problems, mate. Maybe next time you're over. What's this? Sky Blue Sam. USA aren't bad shout along with Uruguay. Yeah, not a bad shout at all. Let me just have a look at this one. Are you there, Ken, now?
I'm here, but you can't see me, I don't think.
Oh, Ken, sort it out. Listen, so come on.
It's something to do
Who's going to win the World Cup? Who's going to win the World Cup?
Oh, Brazil. No, without doubt, Brazil.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I just think it's made for a team like that because they've got so many players are going to be used to playing in that them conditions, basically. And, well, let's face it, they're a good side anyway, aren't they? So they do concede goals, though, so you just never know. But I just think they're going to be there or thereabouts, to be honest.
Okay. I think you're right. I think a lot of people are saying Brazil. But then, I don't know if anyone watched it the other night. I watched that Rob and Ramesh versus the Three Lions. I don't know if you've seen it. Oh, Rob's got a right shot on him. He was banging the goals in. But Southgate reckons there's probably 7 or 8 teams that could win the World Cup. And, we're one of them, he reckons.
Well, so, we need to get off to a good start. We need to get out of that group in flying colours. We need to beat all them teams convincingly, really.
Yeah.
And if they struggle, which they may do against teams like Wales, they're always going to be difficult when you play Wales, isn't it? Because they know each other so well.
Yeah.
And maybe the USA might be a surprise as well. I think I think they'll win tomorrow night convincingly. I think they'll beat them okay, but the next 2 games a bit more close and a bit more difficult, I think.
Yeah, it'd be a good laugh though. So we've got CJ and Dan here very shortly. Let me just get a few more messages first, so we don't leave anyone out. What we got here? Where is it? There we go. Reese again. Underdogs Portugal. They haven't been spoken about much. Really? They've been on Sky Sports News all week about Ronaldo. I saw this all been all week about Portugal. Getting a bit fed up with it, to be honest with you. Nation Radio, good evening. How are you? Look out for Germany in this World Cup. Yeah, that could be a good one. Official Flame Esports team. Never write off the Germans. Another one that says here, Portugal, if Ronaldo keeps his toys in his pram. Yeah, definitely. What a baby. Anyway, move on for that one. Paul Webb, agree, Ken. Too much talent, also weather conditions. Let's have a look. CJ's just having an issue with his mic at the moment, so he'll be back on again in a minute. Paul Webb, 3 from 3, no worries for England. Nation Radio, England and Wales will qualify. USA will go out in the group stage. And then we got the last one on here so far is Denmark or another team no one is talking about. Yeah, they did really well in the Euros, didn't they? And it was only us that knocked them out in the end. So Ken, did you watch the game today?
I did. I watched the game. Qatar were very poor, weren't they? Defensively, very poor. We all got a bit caught out with that first goal that got disallowed because we weren't quite sure why it was disallowed. But I think afterwards they explained it was like a knee offside, wasn't it, or something, because the keeper was quite outside his goal. So in the end, it was offside, I suppose, when they looked at it technically. But nobody could see it originally. But yeah, I mean, I just thought Qatar were very poor. I mean, both teams really would struggle to. I think they were probably equivalent to League One, League Two teams, were they? Would you say?
Yeah, I think I said that earlier on. Yeah, so just before you came on, I said it was like watching League One, League Two. So here we go, live from Qatar. Good evening, boys. CJ and Dan, how are you?
How are you both? You good?
Good evening.
Brilliant.
Yes.
How's Qatar?
It's all right.
Yeah. is it all right? Is it good? Is
Yeah,
it
it's
a
not
nice
bad.
place?
Yeah, it's all right. The people are very friendly.
Yeah.
Haven't had any problems, have we, Dan, so far?
No, not at all, really.
Yeah, I mean, there was some worry before we got here for some people that, shorts have to be below the knee and stuff like that. No problem with that at all. The wife's walked around with a dress on that's just straps over the shoulders showing. Again, no problem at all.
It's a bit hot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just very hot in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. And
then how about drink wise? I mean, the alcohol problem. Have you got around that or not?
The bars are all serving it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 12 quid a pint, 10, 12 quid a pint. But at the end of the day, like, we're finding the other stuff so much cheaper.
Yeah.
That if you're gonna go out, if you're coming out and gonna go out and have a beer, it just equals out anyway. If you're spending 10, 12 quid in a pint, I mean, you can sit in an Uber for 40 minutes and pay 10 quid, 12 quid.
Yeah, very true.
So, do you know what I mean? Yeah, and all the other transport's free. So, at the end of the day, it all evens out, doesn't it? We did a big shop the other night for our apartment, 150 quid, and the stuff here is generally less than what it is at home. Like
Morrison's jam is cheaper here than it is in Morrison's.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a Morrison's out there in Qatar.
No, they
just imported into another store, but it's weird how it's cheaper than it actually is in Morrison's.
And it says Morrison's on it.
Honestly, I'll go and get it.
Go on and go and get it.
And the other thing that we've done as well today, we've been shopping. We wanted to get into the local spirits as well as eating Morrison's jam. We've been to Mothercare, the Early Learning Centre, Debenhams, Virgin Megastore, and H&M today. So
you're really taking in the traditions.
The local spirit.
It's just like being at home, isn't it?
In the fridge, mate. Yeah, that's where you keep jam. Yeah, you keep jam in the fridge.
Brilliant. Hey, I want to ask. Have you been to any of the stadiums yet to have a look? Because they're all within 25 kilometres, aren't they?
There we are. Look,
Morrison's jam in Qatar.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the stadiums look very impressive, to be honest with you, from the road as you go past them. Is it the Al Therma we've been past?
The Al
3
Therma
times.
lovely, it?
Yeah, it looks like it's like a white nest almost, or like a white basket.
Yeah,
a bit like the bird's nest in Shanghai. That kind of design with like
similar.
Yeah.
And
I've seen the ground they were playing at today. It's like looks like it's in a big marquee. It's that good.
Yeah.
Although it's not a marquee, it looks fantastic. And we're playing there Friday, aren't we?
Friday, yeah. I mean, the architecture. I mean, you probably see, if you follow CJ on Twitter, some of the photos he put up, the buildings, what they've done with them, and the sort of murals they put up of players and stuff. How anyone could say if you were out here, it doesn't feel like a World Cup. Every 10 meters, there's a sign to say World Cup, welcome, all this, Yeah. So as much as it doesn't feel like a World Cup, because back home it's probably freezing cold and it's not in the summer, over here, everything that's gone on, but it feels like a World Cup because there's posters everywhere and everyone's smiling. Hello, how are you? Everyone's welcoming you. Just it's a bit awkward actually. How welcoming they are.
They're very over friendly.
It's a little bit awkward. I was talking we were on 5 Live earlier, and he said, "Oh, how was you welcome?" Blah blah blah. So in our reception when we walked in yesterday, me and CJ, we didn't have a clue where we were going, and we walked in, and all the people behind the counter were giggling, and we're like, "Have we done something here?
Yeah.
Have we done something?" And we're like, "Oh," and they were just giggling and laughing, and it was a bit they were just that sort of they couldn't believe that people were actually here.
Yeah.
To actually do it.
Wow. I mean, I've got a photo actually. I've put little collages together. So tell us about this then. Southgate 1. Where's that? That's a bit smart, isn't it?
That's the Mall of Qatar, which is like, it's a bit bigger than West Orchard. It's like, I mean, if you've ever been to the Trafford Centre, go, you're talking that times about 4. It's absolutely massive, huge.
So they know England are going to win having that there then, Southgate 1.
Southgate, yeah. And what are the other ones?
So you got the, what's that? There's the mall
souk.
there. Yeah, the mall. And then that area there where all the buildings are, top right. I mean, what's that like there? Is that a drinking, eating area?
Yeah, that's the souk. We sat down, had a drink there last night. Day before we had a meal there. And like I was saying, with regards to the food and the cost of everything, that meal cost us about 50 quid for the 3 of us, with drinks and everything. So yeah, again, like I said, the prices are just pretty reasonable. To be honest with you, it's what you'd spend at home, and we're not talking London at home or capital cities at home. We're talking Coventry, rugby, that sort of.
Yeah.
You're talking standard stuff really in terms of prices, and and then the other one that's in West Bay, I think.
Where is it? Let's have a look. Yeah, the one bottom right. Yeah.
So I mean, further to the right of that, you've got like loads of buildings that have got literally, like, you see how tall those buildings are. You've got like massive murals of like Harry Kane, and I think Suarez is on one as well. Ronaldo's on one, and it's just like 30 floor buildings. From
Andre Ayew.
Yeah, Andre Ayew. Yeah. But yeah, they're really like buying into it. And one of the buildings has got like this silver ball, in the middle of it, and they've managed to like put a big picture of some goalkeeper gloves around it. So they've really thought, they have actually thought about it, and they haven't just thrown them up anywhere. And they've really gone to town on it. Really haven't it?
Have you seen the big egg timer? I've seen a big egg timer on the telly. There's like a massive egg timer about how long it was until the World Cup and the sand was pouring.
Okay. Yeah,
you haven't seen that anyway.
I haven't seen it. No, I'll have to try and find it. Yeah.
I know there's one here. You ain't going to get on the plane if you keep eating all this lot, are you? Look at the size of that cheesecake.
I know, that's the Cheesecake Factory. So, that was, as you can see, Hannah there's impressed by the size of hers, and she was getting a photo as well. But yeah, like I said, you can't go wrong with that sort of food. To be honest with you, we're trying to eat eat local stuff as well. But sometimes you walk past a place like that, you think, let's go for it. And as I said again, that was like, I mean,
it was dear, but it weren't dear.
It's not standard price what you pay anywhere for it. So.
CJ, just a question: how far is the ground from all the stadiums from when you are? I mean, is there a lot of travelling involved or not?
We could get to any stadium by car, by Uber for like, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, every stadium.
All right. Oh, okay, so it's not too bad then. Not too bad at all.
There's one right in the far north of Doha, and that might take sort of best part of an hour maybe. But most of them, you're talking like, you're talking half hour, 45.
Well, and how many would you say England fans are there at the minute? Would you say there's quite a lot more than expected or less?
There's quite a few, and kind of a lot of the lads we've bumped into so far are just people we know. Yeah. I mean, we bumped into a bloke today that we hadn't seen since Russia, and his mate that we'd seen a fair amount recently, and then also
a lot of expats.
Yeah, there's a lot of expats who live out here.
Whether they're English or Welsh.
Right,
we spoke to a guy who's he works in Hong Kong, and he's a Welsh fan and that. But we were chatting to him. He's over, and a lot of his friends from Dubai and all that sort of area are flying in.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that. Expats, because I think we were reading up somewhere, or I was anyway, I think only 28% of the Qatar population is actually Qatari. The rest is made up of foreign nationals.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think a lot of obviously we don't want to go too deep into the migrant worker sort of situation, but I think the total, that death total includes kind of everybody. And when you're talking your migrant worker population is,
70%.
70% of the population here, it could kind of, it's still bad. It's still bad. The figures are bad, no matter how you look at it. And they've gone up since then, no doubt about it. But ultimately, I don't think it's as bad as what it's made out to be, if you get what I mean. There seems to be a lot with those figures that, it's just based on everybody here that works, whether they work in a bank or whether they work in whether they work in a stadium or what have you. It's
Yeah.
And I've seen pictures today that fans have found a way of sneaking beer into the ground. There's apparently people are selling these Coca-Cola covers that they can put over the top of the cans. Have you got yourselves one of those each?
I can't honestly see that they're that mad and sort of what's the word to use, like they don't take no crap, basically.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work. I think they've seen it all before. You can't take anything in, I don't think.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I mean, every UEFA tournament I think I've been to, I can't remember whether it was actually at the Euros last year here, but you haven't been allowed to drink at a UEFA game ever, as far as I know. Like, it's always been the 0% stuff, I think.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's no different to a UEFA game. I mean, that may have been relaxed actually since COVID. I'm not sure, but it's not something I've really noticed. But I mean, the other way, when we went to Watford, you couldn't drink in the ground. Do you know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
You can still drink outside. You can still drink outside. There's plenty of places to go and drink outside. In the pubs.
Yeah.
So
I've got a question here for you from Glenn. He's under the weather tonight, so he couldn't join us. But how big of a factor do you think the heat could be out there for the games? Do you think, guys?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Iran. I mean, Iran. That's actually going to be a tougher game than a lot of people think. Similar to the Tunisia game last time out, and it could be a similar sort of result. And I think
the heat tomorrow, because it's a 4 o'clock kickoff over here, and obviously 1 o'clock at home. It's going to be a bit hotter. They're going to be more used to conditions. Okay, we're probably the better side technically, but they're going to want it, and it's going to be like their World Cup final playing us in an opening game of a World Cup for them. So I think there's a lot.
I reckon that I think we sold about 2,000 tickets for it, which is quite a bit actually, more than what we sold for Volgograd the first game. I think 4 years ago. I think we sold 1,200. I think, and we were still one of the best supported teams there. This time out, we sold about 2,000, and they're going to outnumber us 10-1 tomorrow. Possibly more, I would say. So that's going to be something that the players have got to prepare them. They've got to prepare themselves for that. It's not going to be a very good atmosphere, for them to play in, and it's going to be pretty rowdy, I think, and I think it's going to be fun for us as well. We're going to be, we're going to be drowned out, I think. So we've got to sing extra loud.
Well, you're used to that being at the City, so you'll be all right, won't we? Dan, I mean, what are the England fans like over there at the moment? Are they really buoyant that you've met?
Anyone we've met has been, yeah. I mean, I think what you find when you travel with England, you tend to try and look at it in a positive way. When you're at home, you'll speak to somebody down the pub, and they won't know as much, as they're not as probably close. If you're going to travel all this way, you're going to be sort of buoyant and optimistic, ain't you?
Yeah.
Anyone we spoke to, the problem you've got is I just think we're all a bit unsure on how he's going to play it tomorrow. Is he going to go 3 at the back? Is he going to go with 4 because Walker's not fit? Who's he going to play? I think once we see who he's going to play tomorrow, I think we'll all have an idea of where we think we can go.
Yeah.
I think we'll all be a bit more, do you know what, we can actually have a go at this, or we're going to get knocked out in the quarters by France, That's the kind of thing where
it's like you were saying, I think it was you earlier, wasn't it, Miles, about France?
Yeah.
I mean,
6 players injured.
They've still got a good team, but Benzema's massive. Pogba, we kind of knew that he wouldn't be here quite some time ago, really. So, I mean, he hasn't actually played a game for Juventus yet, has he, since he's gone back there. Kante's another one. There's a lot out for them now, and that's going to be tough, really, and they could come unstuck.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to ask you actually about injury wise. I mean, Gareth Southgate's picked a team. He's took Walker with him. He's took Phillips with him. Madder's got a knock last week. I mean, do you blame him taking those players, or do you think he should have replaced them with probably fitter players, or is it worth the gamble in taking them because you can have 5 subs now and 26 team? Do you think it was worth taking them?
I think maybe he's looked at it and thinking, right, I'm going to pick my 23, and Maddison would probably be in that 23.
Yeah.
And then he's looking at others, like he's thinking, right, if Phillips comes back and he's fit for, say, the quarterfinal, and he's fighting fit, he's played sort of 10 minutes in the round of 16, and he looks like he looks like on the training pitch and in those 10 minutes, thinking, yeah, he looks really good, really sharp. It's worth taking the gamble on because we've got those extra players. Obviously, we can only have the 20 on the. We can only have 20 outfield players in a match day squad, so there's going to be 3 miss out.
You already said Walker's not fit for tomorrow, hasn't he?
Yeah. So
Walker's
Maddison, obviously, he's not going to play. So there'll be one more that kind of misses out there. But I think you've got to look at the bigger picture. I think sometimes and think, do you know what? Let's use those extra 3 players as a bonus. We don't use them. We don't use them. That's it. Steve Holland said the most important player in the dressing room during the Euros last year, and we got to the final. You know, we just whipped the post, and we missed on penalties. We lost on penalties. You know, in the final. So the way I look at it, we took, the players that we took there was 1 or 2, like Cody. I mean, Steve Holland said he was the most important player in the dressing room. So, he was the first one. He was pretty much the first one to go to Saka. And what have you? First one always in the camp to go and sit with a, if a player was feeling a bit down, he'd be straight over. So, you look at the bigger picture sometimes, and we've got those extra players, and Southgate won't be alone in doing that. There'll probably be half the managers in this tournament that will be doing exactly the same thing. That he'll pick like players that kind of seem half fit, but thinking, do you know what? If we get to the final and he's fully fit in the final,
like Phillips, if you're 1-0 up in the final and you've got Phillips to bring on with that engine, he's even 80% fit, you're going to take him. It's like Walker. The fact that Reece James is out is a massive, massive, massive problem. So having a 50% Walker to sit there for 2 or 3 games and be fit for the knockout stage is a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
You take it.
You look at 98. I mean, Beckham, I don't think started. Was it the first 3 games he didn't start?
Yeah.
Was it the first 3?
I think it was 3, wasn't it? Yeah.
The first couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
now, listen, we're just going to take a break for a minute. Let you get your breath back. Ken, if you can go and see if you can sort your camera out. We've got a bit of announcement to make. Now, listen, we've just signed a new partner, which we are really, really excited about, and we've been working hard at this for the last 4 weeks. And I'm just going to show you a short video. You'll see who it is, and then we'll show you a video of our partners. So it's a little bit of an ad break. This is our new partner, exclusive tonight to all of you. Oh, Vanity. There I am. So there you go. We've got a new partner. It's Neon. Oh, blimey. Neon Now. I'm too excited. So you can see it going across the bottom. It's www.neonnow.co.uk. And they've got a special code just for Sky Blue Fans TV users. So spread it between family and friends. It's a special discount code, which is Sky Blue Fans TV 10, but the initials. And at the end of in the checkout, you put the code in and you get 10% off any sign. That's not just any football sign, that is any sign. So if you've got parties, weddings, birthdays coming up, you can buy any sign off there and you'll get a special discount if you put our code in, which is scrolling across the bottom of there. So now we're joined again by our England fans, CJ and Dan, who are live in Qatar. And we've finally got Ken on camera.
I'm here. I don't know what happened. Technical issues with the camera, but I've got it fixed. So.
Now, lads, out in Qatar, we've got some questions coming for you. So the first one coming up from Sky Blue Sam. Which of the three former Coventry players in the England squad has the best tournament? Which ones do you think will have the best tournament?
Well, I mean, for me, if you're asking me, I'd say, hopefully, I'd like to see Callum Wilson get a shot, and Maddison, I think, can be a fantastic player. We all know if he gets a game. That's all down to Southgate, I suppose. That's you're on about injuries as well, there, aren't you? So I don't think they'll start, but I think they could play a big part if they get on.
And CJ and Dan.
Go on, mate.
I think Wilson for me. Of the three, I think Henderson. He's kind of there to like. I said this in the run up to the Euros as well. Henderson's there to look after the nil, so to speak. You're 1-0 up or 2-1 up in extra time.
Yeah.
And you've got 5 minutes left. Bring on Jordan Henderson, and yeah, you know it's. You've got a Champions League winning captain there, Premier League winning captain, and he can come on for those 5 minutes and really settle things. And like I said before, it's that 26-man squad now, so we can use it. Maddison, again, he could come on and just set the world alight. I think though that there's a lot of other attacking players around him, so to speak, and he's less likely to get the goals. He's more likely to provide them or provide the assists.
Yeah.
So I think of the three, I think Wilson is most likely to come in because he's just an out-and-out goal scorer, isn't he? He's the one that's most likely to come in and like get all the headlines because he could come in and literally go out and score 2 goals in 5 minutes after coming off the bench and turning around a 1-0, 1-0 down against Wales, and then he comes on and changes it. Who knows?
And I think if there is an injury to Harry Kane, which is possible, I mean, he's the ideal man to come in, isn't he, Callum Wilson? Yeah. Ideal.
And Dan, who do you think, Dan?
I'll be honest. If I'm totally honest, I think all three of them will probably have less of an impact as we hope. I just don't think either of them are going to get a game. I'll be honest. I'm going to have to be biased. I actually went to school with James, and I was a good friend of his when we were at school. So I'd like to see him do well for that point of view, but. I think, like you say, I think the one that could have the impact is Wilson.
Yeah.
He's our only backup to Kane, really, isn't he, as a number 9?
Yeah.
He has the direct line to make an impact, but yeah, I'd like to see Maddison have a good tournament, to be fair.
I think a lot has been said about Tony being not in the squad, which he couldn't, he couldn't be being under a betting charge with the, effectively the FA. Investigating him for a betting charge, and then they call him up to play for England. It's not really going to work. But I think that's all academic. I think he may have been in as an additional player, possibly. But I think Wilson was always going to get in ahead of him. I think Wilson was always going to. I think Wilson was always going to get in ahead of Abraham. Abraham just hasn't been particularly brilliant this season.
I don't think he rates form in Serie A.
No. I don't think he does.
It looks at the form of Serie A and matches it up with the Premier League.
I mean, what a lot of people say that. I mean, I don't know a massive amount of it. I watch a bit of it, but I don't know a massive amount about Serie A, not as much as some people. But some of the people that watch a lot of Serie A they say Tomori's been really poor this season.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's probably the right decision there. But like I said, going back to the three Cov lads, I think Tony wouldn't have even made a difference with Wilson. He would have been in that squad anyway. He would have been our number 2 striker, I would say.
Yeah. Here's another one for you guys, all three of you. Is there anyone who isn't in the England squad you think that should have been picked? We'll start with you, Dan. What do you think? Is there anyone that should have been picked? That's from official esports team, by the official Flame esports team.
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, to be honest. I would say if I actually just switch that question a little bit, if there's anybody I was surprised to see in the squad was Conor Gallagher.
Right.
That was the only way I can. I can't say there's anybody that's glaringly obvious that should be in the squad. But someone that I was a bit shocked. The only one I was shocked that was in the squad was Gallagher. I didn't know what he'd done really to get in the squad. I thought maybe with our issues at right back, saying obviously with Reece James being out, and obviously I weren't sure if he'd pick someone like a Loftus-Cheek that can play 3 or 4 positions.
Yeah.
That was the only one I might have, if I had to really clutch at straws.
I mean,
Yes.
you know what I think of him. Like 2018, you looked at him, you thought he is going to be the next big. The bloke's like a racehorse. He's just built like. There was a picture of him when he was running over to celebrate. I think it's in the Panama game, and he was running over to celebrate. All the other players, even the ones that may be 2 or 3 inches taller than him, just look like they're like tiny compared to him. He's just built. He's just massive.
Yeah.
And he's just so imposing, and he can stroll around when he's on form. He can stroll around the pitch looking like Zidane,
Rolls Royce player.
yeah, proper Rolls Royce player. But he just hasn't quite worked for him that much over the last sort of 4 years. He's not obviously nowhere. There's players in that squad that have gone downhill massively since that, even more so than him. But you're talking to players like Lingard, for example, has dropped off a fair bit.
Dele Alli, mate.
Dele Alli, you know. Dele Alli, fully fit Dele Alli, playing as well as he could have been at this point in his career, he'd have been starting, no doubt about that. He would, yeah. But like I said, yeah, maybe somebody like Loftus-Cheek. To be honest, I'm not massively surprised about Gallagher. He's a player that you might not think about a lot. I don't necessarily think about him a lot, but he's.
You don't dream about him, do you?
No. When I was watching the Arsenal Chelsea game, last week before, was it? Week before. Yeah. He was probably one of the only players that stood out for me really in that side. So I thought he played all right. So, but yeah, I think that's. There's no one that stands out for me that you can look at and say, yeah, we should have picked him 100%.
Yeah, and Ken, anyone you think we should have took, or are you happy with what we're taking, or what we have taken?
I'm
got
happy
no choice.
Yeah, well, I'm happy with what he's got. To be fair, I don't think there's anybody else really, apart from what the lads have mentioned, who the lads have mentioned that they could have took really. That's in form. I think he's got the best available players to him, and it's up to him. I mean, we've got some fantastic attacking players, haven't we? So it's just he's got to make sure he plays the right tactics, I suppose, against the right teams. And because on our day we can beat anybody. As a bit like Coventry, really, isn't it? But on our day, but down to on the day, isn't it? And what team?
But on our day, we could lose to anyone. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very much so.
I think I'm worried that like Dan mentioned about the right wing back position. I think having Walker injured, I think Walker's so quick, it's unbelievable. And when you play that system, you've got to have someone like Walker to push up and be able to get back as well. And I think that's probably my biggest worry is that side of the field. But then again, I looked at it in a way that about Phillips as well. I thought, well, White Phillips hasn't kicked a ball for Man City, and it's like you're taking someone out to a country with such a high temperature who's not kicked a ball. And when we look at our Callum O'Hare, we gradually gave him 3 or 4 games where he come in for 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, and then a 90-minute game. and we haven't been able to do that with Phillips. So for me, that's the biggest gamble for me. I think personally, it was taking Phillips. But then again, I'm only an England fan that sits on the sofa. I don't go to. I've been to 3 or 4 games, so I can't say a great deal. Like I could talk about Cov City till the cows come home. But that's where I see that. I think that's probably the biggest gamble for me was taking Phillips. But
I think
yeah,
you're right. I think you're right. I think you are. The only thing is, I think you've got 2 midfielders there in Bellingham and Rice.
Yeah.
That unless one of them gets hit by the team bus on the way out of the ground, they're going to be starting, and that's it. And I think he knows that's his starting. So he took probably Gallagher for that reason as well. That he knows he's got and Henderson.
Yeah.
He's got those 2. So I suppose it's
Mount
a
can
freebie.
play a bit further back, possibly as well.
Yeah.
He can.
Yeah.
He's got a bit more utility than a lot of people think. Yeah. Because we're in Qatar as well. Yeah, we're we're getting into the local spirit.
We've only got the darts.
Yeah, we've got the darts.
What
on
you
as
got?
well, so.
You got the darts on.
Yeah, we're not in one of these tents. In the
There's a
desert.
Qatari local music.
It looks like you're in a luxury hotel. There, is it quite nice where you are?
It's an apartment, Ken.
Got a little
Apartment.
tour.
Yeah, please. Yeah, show us.
Go on, send us around.
So like,
You know what you need in there, don't you? Some neon signs.
yes, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
You need some neon signs from Neon Now.
I'm sure they'll do an England one. They'll do an England one
Do
for
they
you.
deliver out?
Yeah,
here?
they'll ship it over for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got that's the first bathroom. And then
Yeah.
We've got
I don't want
we've
to
got
see
a
in the
part of
toilet.
here. You don't know. We've got a kitchen in here, and like most parents, the most essential things you'll ever buy is one of those.
Right.
So yeah, as you can see, this is
What's that, a coffee machine?
No, it's a prep machine.
Oh,
Yeah, for his bottles, and so like stuff like this. I mean, pretty much every apartment we stayed on in Russia, it's so essential. It's like the thing. One of the first things you look at when you book somewhere, when you do somewhere like this for more than a couple of weeks. A washing machine's like essential, man. It's just
We bought more clothes to think about.
Yeah, we bought enough clothes to think about shit, but even so, and then you've just got your
Show the balconies.
Yeah, we'll go outside. Then we've got.
Go on the balcony. Let's have a look outside.
So,
how's the little one anyway? How's the little one coping?
he's blind and he's getting used to it. He's getting used to it. So, but yeah, that's our. This is the complex we're on.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Look at that. Hey, Ken, that's like the hotel we're going to next week, mate.
Yes, yeah, we're off to Marbella.
That looks brilliant.
Lovely.
That looks nice.
Yeah,
it
so,
looks nice.
Yeah. You got any lizards climbing up the walls and stuff?
no. No. I mean, as you can see, like you can see the banners. Look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And, saying that it's the same. You remember what Cov was like in 2012.
Yeah.
And during the Commonwealth Games as well, it was all like that. And I mean, what I would say is like this place is, it's not cheap. It's not, it's not like we're paying 50 quid a night, but in comparison to the tents, with the 2 people staying in the tents, it's actually cheaper to take one of these out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've got more than 2 people. So
I've seen there weren't many cars outside. Don't know what
no,
drives.
it's because you were looking at hiring a car, weren't you? But then please didn't, because it's like
Every road is shut. Like
they're
literally
across the whole of Doha.
Their main sort of like areas, either the souk or the Corniche. And the Corniche, you're usually allowed to drive along it, and it's like a bit of a riverside beach sort of whatever is resort place.
Yeah.
They completely shut it off. It's like a 4-mile road, and it's just pedestrians only. So like that's just a small part. They've cut all the roads off. All the schools are shut. Half of the businesses are shut to get people off the roads.
You can't even. They suspended all construction projects.
As of this morning.
Was it this morning?
As of this morning.
Yeah. So this morning was the last. But yesterday was kind of the last time they could do anything. And I mean, it was like a ghost town around here when we arrived on Thursday.
We arrived Friday. And we're like, this. We know this is our block where we're staying. Where's the reception? You've still got like
no one
packs
here.
of blocks on the floor that haven't been laid. it was like, what are we doing? I mean, and me being to him, have you brought us to the right place? Like, where are you know?
Are we in Qatar?
But I'd say like everything that needed to be here is here. Kind of.
Yeah.
There's a few like last minute touches that probably they've done a little bit late. Like there was a kids lot playground with a football court there and stuff. Yeah, near the souk.
It's still got the scaffolding up on it.
They were just finishing painting it earlier, but it's just little things like that they're just finishing off. And there's probably a few of these apartment blocks that they needed to maybe finish, but even with it, the people are starting to arrive.
It's busier today than it was yesterday, and I bet it'll be busier tomorrow than it was the next day.
As like you said, like Dan said earlier about like you look when France are playing, and look when a lot of these big Brazil look at when a lot of these countries are going to be playing. They're not playing for a few days, so why would they get here now? It's and always the biggest countries are the Americans, South Americans. Germans never go to a tournament before in the group stage. Generally, they might sell 1,000 tickets for each group game, but then after that, they turn up en masse in the round of 16. Obviously, that didn't really work from 4 years ago, but it does generally. That's how they work. They say, what's the point of going to a round, a group stage game? We know we're going to win, and it doesn't always work out that way, does it?
Usually does.
It usually does. But and I think it is starting to get busier here. You can see lights on in a lot of these apartments.
That's what I just thought.
Over the way.
There's a lot more lights on. We were at a party this morning. We went out. What time was it? About 11.
Yeah.
And all we could hear was this music. Boom, boom, boom. What's that? We'd seen the Ecuador flags across the way. They were having this mad session, whatever they were doing this morning. 11 o'clock this morning. I thought, they're ready for the game already.
They had a few hours to wait as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We've got a question here from Feta. Good evening, Feta. How are you, mate? He's only just joined, so I don't know if we've already been asked. We haven't got to this bit yet, mate. But we might as well cover this now. Actually, a little bit earlier. Going into tomorrow's game, we always ask for a score prediction. Tomorrow, you're saying because it's probably going to be the hottest day that we're going to play, because the rest of them are going to be at night, aren't they? So we should be okay there. But I mean, he's going for 4-0 to England. I mean, is that a bit too optimistic there? I'll go with you first, Dan.
2-0.
2-0.
I think 2-1.
Yeah. Ken?
I'm going to go 2-0.
Yeah.
Not too many goals, but just they should. They should win.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to go for a 1-0. To be honest with you. I think as you guys said, it's a bit hot. They might just want to get the early goal and control the game by just keeping hold of the ball, because we're good at that, aren't we?
It screams 1-0. You're bang on. I was being optimistic saying 2, but it screams 1-0. 83rd minute penalty. 4 shots on target in the game. No one's even asked really. It's going to be one of them games. I think really funny game.
Yeah, we're just going to hold on to the ball. I think.
Yeah, I think we're going to try and pass it around.
Did you watch much of the game today? That first game.
Yeah, we watched it in here.
Yeah. I had to double check to see if it was a Sunday League game we were watching. Or what. No, to be fair, Ecuador play well. First half, they put the game to bed. They put the game to bed in the first half, and you can't fault them for that. And then they just passed it around them.
Yeah, Qatar.
Dion Dublin. Dion Dublin made a great comment. He goes, "Qatar came out and gave it a real good go." Did they?
They look very poor. No, I think Cov City would probably beat both of them teams. To be honest,
probably.
I don't think we'd beat Ecuador.
Ecuador, they've got a couple of decent players, but they certainly weren't.
Qatar just looked they just looked really lackluster. Didn't have a clue what was going on. It just looked like it was like right. It's like when you turn up on a Sunday, like the dog and duck. You're playing the dog and duck, and it's like you're playing right back today. It just seemed a little bit. Maybe they'll play better next time. But
I think you never know. You never know. We've got some more scores coming.
I was a little bit disappointed with how they played,
CJ.
to be honest, Qatar. I thought Qatar would offer a lot more. I think they just won the Asian Continental Cup or something.
Yeah,
So
they did,
you know, and they've actually put some. You know, they look good. I actually want to watch them play. Like 7 years ago, I probably seen. I go to some properly random games. That was one of the most random. I went to watch Qatar v Northern Ireland in Crewe. And Stuart Dallas scored. I think it might have even been his debut, but it's definitely his first goal.
His debut 7 years ago.
Yeah, might have been. I don't know, but it was his first goal, and that was obviously for Northern Ireland. And then they one of the Qatari lads. It finished 1-1. 1-1. Sorry, one of the Qatari lad. He scored from about 30 yards out. Unreal goal. But like looking at their team back then, and compare it to now, and the way how they've been playing recently. I've watched a bit of their highlights recently, and they're just so much better than what they were then. And I think it's helped them over the last sort of, you know, let's not try and be too, you know, controversial, but they knew that they were probably going to be hosting this tournament about 2 years before they actually got awarded it. So they've had plenty of time to build and get these, you know, maybe get some expats come in that kind of like are nationalised in Qatar that aren't necessarily born here, and they've utilised that system quite well, and they've got some really good local talent as well that's come through, and I think they're you know, I just expected a lot more from them. Shame really, but
it was a bit of a shame.
We've got some more scores coming in here, so let's have a look. Glenn's gone. Any win for England in this in the heat over there will be a good result. Yeah, definitely agree with that, Glenn. Official esports team, Flame esports team. Sorry, lads. Official Flame esports team. 3-1 England. Victoria, one of our crew. Good evening, Victoria. She's not feeling very well either. Everyone's got this cold. I had it last week. Victoria's going for 2-0. Start off steady. Webby's in Tenerife is saying 3-0. And I've got a message here for you, CJ. Have you been wearing a hat?
that's my that's my grandmother. No, it's my mother.
That's your grandmother.
Yeah,
Hi, Gran. Oh no, Mum.
Yeah, she's I have look. So as you can see, like there you go. Look, no.
There you go, Mum.
On there, you know. So I'm not used to it. So, but slowly getting used to it.
And someone said, Glenn said Qatar looked like they had stage fright. Probably, yeah.
Big time.
The occasion.
Big thing for them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge.
And that was the difference.
Huge.
I think Dublin and that said having like that Enna Valencia and that Caicedo in the middle, both with Premier League experience, was like massive for them today. Big stage. They didn't even flinch. You know.
Yeah.
I think that was the key.
And let's face it, you look at the last few tournament hosts that we've played in. Like last year, obviously it's everywhere, but then kind of the year, you know, the one before that, Russia, they played in big tournaments before. Mm-hmm. One before that, France. Brazil. One before that, Brazil. One before that, Poland and Ukraine. One before, South Africa. So going back as far, you have to go back as far as that, really, to have a team that's kind of traditionally not in these tournaments that's hosting. And it's a big thing.
Yeah,
big thing.
Huge.
Yeah, so, they're opening the tournament. They've got their, the world's watching them. A lot of the world want them to fail, I suppose. And it's not their fault. It's the players. It's not their fault. That what's gone on here. The situation here with how some people get treated here, and the clear problems with it being awarded to here, and the other problems you mentioned earlier. But at the end of the day, they're just going out and playing football for their country.
Yeah, and I think it's important we remember that all this was said before Russia as well.
Yeah.
The eruption, it was just a few weeks before that it all happened in Salisbury, and there was a big thing whether we'd actually go out there, and I think I'm very happy now that the football started. because we can stop talking. Like, I know they've got. I think it's important people make a stand on everything that's happened, but I think it's important how we let the football do the talking. That's what we're all here for. That's what we all want to see.
Yeah.
Now, let the football do the talking, and hopefully a good tournament comes out of something that might not be as good, but hopefully we get a good tournament of football or some entertainment, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the heat, we've mentioned the heat quite a few times, but it's 30 degrees, you know. It's 10 degrees hotter than that in England, you know, a few months ago. So, you know, it's like it would have been if we would have played in, if this had been played in, I don't know, the next one we're going to is Germany. It's going to be as hot as this in Germany, you know, at that time of the year.
Yeah.
You know? So,
and it isn't that humid. That's one thing you've got to remember at the moment. It's not humid at all. It's very, very breezy. It's not. It's still hot. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like high humidity like it is in the summer. It's quite. I mean, to be honest, anyone you know living out here says it's cold.
yeah.
Well, they will, won't they?
You're walking around in
'Cause they're
jeans,
probably used to it.
and jumpers.
Loons. I mean, I've seen the big air conditioning pipes coming out the ground, out the side of the stadium. So that should keep the players cool. Now, listen, we're coming to the end of the show. I mean, this has been absolutely. I really appreciate you guys coming on. You know, because it's late over there. What is it now? It's about. Is it 12 o'clock? Nearly 12 o'clock?
Half
is it?
11.
Half 11, is it? So, yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming on. I want to ask you one more thing before we do head off tonight. And that is this question. What do you think and your thoughts on Doug King, Mike Ashley events last week? Go with you first, CJ.
Who are they? We've missed it all.
They don't know anything about it.
Of course they know about it.
I don't think it's actually the worst thing in the world that Ashley's got the stadium.
Yeah.
And I think it's not like before where effectively the owner of the stadium has actually got it's advantageous to them to buy the club. And I think it's good in a way to have two people that would. There's a good reason for the club to do well, for both of them, whereas the previous owners like Wasps, the council and so on didn't really seem to care how we did in the grand scheme of things, did they? So I think that's actually a good thing, because at the end of the day, I can see Ashley like looking at this and thinking, yeah, I'd like to take this on when it comes to the club, and maybe that's just all part of it. I'm not necessarily his biggest fan as a person, but if he wanted to come and take us over, sign us up. As far as I'm concerned, he's not the nicest man in the world. He's got a lot of controversies there, but at the end of the day, he will throw money at it and get us out the championship. He won't be paying, you know, what was it, 20 odd million plus. You look at that repair bill, 13 to 15 million to get the arena back up to standard, and then you've got say 30, 40 million to buy the club. If he ends up buying the club, he ain't going to do all that without throwing a load of money afterwards to make it worth a bit more, you know. So, and I mean, Doug King, local guy. I don't think he's a City fan, is he?
No, he's from Suffolk originally. He's a Norwich fan, actually.
Norwich.
Yeah. But even so, you know, anything is better, I think, than what we've had. Not just in the last 15 years, but even going back to, you know, even back to all the way back to Robbins in the early 90s, you know, and the seeds were sown in the 90s for what's happened now. So so ultimately, anything's going to be better than what we've had in the past. So I feel a lot better about the situation now than I did, you know, a week to 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and Dan.
I think CJ's covered a lot of what I would think, but what I will say is, I think, just glossing over what he said about Ashley, I do think that he will profiteer, whether he owns the club or Doug King or whoever owns the club, he will profiteer from us being successful. So he will want a Premier League club or a high-end championship club playing at his stadium.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. There isn't anybody else to play there. So I think the whole narrative of him, he could kick us out. I don't see it, because who else will play there? He hasn't got a rugby club to play there like when Wasps were there.
Yeah.
We will be playing there. He will want us to be as successful as possible to make him money. So that's probably my opinion in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I do see it as a good opportunity, but it's got to get off on the right foot. I think we've all got to be very upfront. Ashley, Doug King, Sapala, the club, every cog has to be upfront where we stand, and that's the only way it's successful. Because I think with Wasps and that, there was too many lies and there was too much tit for tat all the time. With the pitch this year, that was crazy. Like, we were just as much, in my opinion, at fault as Wasps. We knew that the pitch, there was an issue with the pitch.
Yeah.
So why did we not make it clear to the EFL and say, no, we can't play those games there. This is what the situation is. You've done it in the past for X, Y, Z. We need to do this. No, we thought we'd win the one up on the Wasp by saying, they've really screwed us on that one, look. Yeah. And then realistically, who got screwed in the end? It was us. So
yeah, we've turned it around though. We've turned it around.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on Dougie boy?
I'm on the fence.
Yeah,
I think being a Cov fan, any Cov fan will know you've got to give someone time to prove themselves, because we've been excited by people in the past and what's happened, and it's all we get let down, don't we? So hopefully, I think the positive is he's local, or he lives local. He might put us at least a smidge first ahead of what Sapala did and Sisu. I
think, to be honest with you as well, I'm not going. Even if you went out and spent 10 million in the transfer window, I saw him getting massively carried away, because I'm reserving judgment on him. I think, like I said, he can't be any worse, so that means he's only going to be better. But when you look on the face of it, you look at when Sisu came in, the players that we bought in at that point over that sort of 12 to 18 month period, we bought Coleman in pretty much straight away on a massive contract, which is obviously a huge mistake, because let's face it, crap really with the team we had, and he just blew it, didn't he? He finished 17th, 18th. So but I think at the end of the day, I'll reserve my judgment on it, because we've been burnt in the past when it comes to seeing new owners come in, throw money at it, and then we just don't
throw it in the wrong place.
We just don't end up doing any good either. So
brilliant. And Ken, what are your thoughts now you've had a little think about it over the weekend and everything? Because we had a bit of a busy week last week sorting out our new partnership and everything. So it just flew by, didn't it? What are your thoughts?
Well, I probably agree. I'm glad Ashley's got the stadium, because I think he will invest in the stadium. He'll sort it all out, and I just think he will.
Ken's gone. So we'll wait for him to come back.
What Ken said there, invest is the key word.
Here you go on.
Yeah, sorry.
Local area as well.
Yeah, local area.
Investing.
Yeah, he will invest. I think he'll invest. The judge is still out the jury's still out, should we say, on King. We don't know too much about him. He's sort of appeared from nowhere, isn't he? Nobody's heard of him before. Why he didn't come in earlier, we don't know that answer. But you've got to give him a chance, I suppose. And he's bought the club. He's bought the club for a reason, and he said he's not going to sell anybody in January, which is a massive thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah, that's.
So we'll have to wait and see if he keeps his promises.
And it's like we said last week, that you can't say you're not going to sell anyone if a club comes in for Vic and says, right, there's 40 million. You're not going to say, I'm going to sell you. You know what I mean? And if someone comes in for a hair and says, I'll give you 20 million, you're not going to say no, are you, when you got him on a free?
The key is.
So you can't really say that you're not. He should have said, we're not going to sell anyone for silly money.
That's what we didn't say that, did we?
No.
The shirt you're wearing now, Miles, ain't for sale, is it? But if somebody walked into that room and now said, "Here, have £100 for that shirt," you're taking it off straight away. Ain't you? That's it.
No, not 100 quid.
Do you know how long he's had that shirt?
Not 100 quid,
So,
mate.
but it's your house ain't up for sale. Somebody comes in and offers stupid
Yeah.
money for it. It's gone, isn't it?
Exactly.
So you've got to look at it. It's at the end of the day, someone comes in, throws stupid money at it.
I think the key is we're debt free. That is the
debt-free,
major
the
key for me. We are debt free. They have, if they sell Gyökeres for 10 million, they've got no excuse.
Yeah.
There's no excuse now.
To not invest that 10 million back into the team.
Yes, exactly. I don't want us to sell him for 10 million, but if we did, they have no excuse, one, to sell him for that price, and two, if we did get that money from him, not to reinvest that back in the squad.
Yeah.
So
four big players, 18 months left, isn't there? So four most important players.
I mean, he was having a meeting with Mark Robbins end of the week last week, and I'm hoping he sat down with him and Mark Robbins, and he's gone, "What do you want?" And I'm hoping he's saying, "Extend contract." If I was him, I would extend everyone's contract in that starting team, because I think they've done a wonderful job. Don't matter who it is, apart from Walker and Waghorn. And I would approach my first thing I would do in January is approach Forest and buy Panzo.
Well, maybe we could do a swap deal and give him Walker back, but
yes,
maybe.
Yes.
I might like that because
I'm not sure if they'll have him back. I'm not sure if they'll have him back.
Because his old man played well for him. So
I think Panzo. The problem with Panzo is I think Panzo is probably worth 8 million plus.
So before we wrap it up, then just one quick one: who's getting out of our group?
America and us, obviously.
Yeah, CJ.
It wouldn't surprise me if us and Wales go into that last game, we've both got 6 points. But I think, I'd say the States are the ones that are most likely to come through it. And we might finish second. We might finish second in that group. You just don't know. It's the hardest group on paper. All 14. Remember that the pot 4 team we're playing is Wales, who I think should be like a lower pot 2 team, I think. Yeah. It's only because they came to the playoffs.
Yeah.
That we just happened to be playing them.
Yeah.
So, that's the reason. That's the reason why they're in our group. They should be like the level of the States. Really. So, I think it could be. It's not going to be a walk in the park, and I think. Yeah, but like I said, I think the States are definitely the ones that are most likely.
I think that's our toughest game, footballing wise. But tomorrow, everything put into perspective, opening game, the heat, a partisan crowd. I think that's going to be the one. But on paper, I think the States are the ones that we might struggle to beat football on the pitch.
Yeah. Ken, who do you think get out of our group?
Well, I think we'll win it. I think we'll win the group. It might be close, but I think they'll win it. And I do think I agree with CJ. I think, and Dan, I think USA will be come second, and Wales will probably just miss out.
Well, I was going to say the same, but just for the crack, I'm going to say us and Wales. So I was going to say the same. There's no point in copying everyone, is there?
Well,
so I'm going to say us and Wales. Wales win the group, and we finish second.
They have got Gareth Bale, so
You know what I mean?
Gareth Bale, haven't they?
Yeah.
To be fair, a good point on that though. Bale ain't getting in the LA team, is he? And
no,
I haven't really looked. To be honest with you, I can't really place who from the LA team might be in the USA squad. But I mean, that might say a lot. So yeah.
Well,
we'll see.
That's it. Just got to wait and see now. And our first game tomorrow, 1:00 kickoff. Listen, boys, absolutely fantastic for you to come on tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time, CJ and Dan. Enjoy the World Cup, and
you'll have us on after the final.
No, we'll have you. No, we'll have you on again, and we'll probably get you on again after the group stages once we're out of it, and we'll see how it's all going for you.
Yeah, we'll be at the
airport. You're there a couple of weeks. No, you're staying, aren't you? We're getting.
If we've gone out,
God,
we won't be. We'll be
you're
going
making
home.
me choke. You're making me. We'll get on before the Wales game then. There you go. Then we get you before you get on the aeroplane. Cheers, boys. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers,
Cheers,
boys.
Enjoy it, yeah? Give them a big cheer for us from home.
All do,
Enjoy.
boys. Enjoy it,
All
lads.
right. Take
Cheers.
care.
Bye.
See you in a bit.
Good
Ta-da.
night.
Wow, absolutely
There you
superb, Ken. Superb.
Yeah,
So
brilliant.
now we've got 2 competitions. Do you want to announce the competitions?
We have. I'll announce the flag one. You can do the other one.
Go on.
We've got a flag one on offer. We've got you can win. There's 4. There's
I've got a
actually
picture,
4
hold on.
flags to be. Go on then. Put the picture.
There you
up.
go.
We've got 4 of these flags to give away. So there'll be 4 winners and 4 mugs. So the question you need to ask. I think we've discussed it tonight. If you were listening, which 3 players are in the current England squad out in Qatar? Name the ex-Coventry City players that are involved in the squad. So we have discussed it tonight. If you were listening, it's quite an easy question. If you're a Coventry fan, you should know that. You can email us at skybluefanstv@gmail.com or enter out on any of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. So and that competition will be running until next Sunday, or Sunday the 27th of November. So you've got plenty of time to get your entries in. You've got another week. So, and Miles, you've got another one, Dylan's Brewery one, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, we got one for Dylan's Brewery. Now, this one's going to run till the end of November, so then you've got plenty of time to get your entries in. But not only that, you can use it as a Christmas present. So what we have got an exclusive tour around Dylan's Brewery, and we've got a little question for you. Who was the last goalkeeper that used to play for Coventry, played for England? So who was the last goalkeeper that played for Coventry that went on to play for England? Send your answers to Sky Blue Fans TV at gmail.com. So that's Sky Blue Fans TV at gmail.com. And Ken, we're in a week and a half time. We might be coming live from where we're going. If I get my passport tomorrow.
Depending on your passport, Miles, I'm definitely going. Hopefully you'll be joining me. We should be live from Marbella, hopefully. Coventry City are playing out there. They're playing Olympiacos, Greek champions, in a friendly. We're going out there for a couple of days just to soak up the atmosphere and mingle around the hotel where the players are and hopefully get a couple of interviews and stuff like that. So we'll be out there live and hopefully be in watching the game as well, all going well. So, so we can join us from a live show back over in Marbella. And that will be when the week sort of commencing Wednesday the 30th, 1st of December, around that time when the game's confirmed, whatever night it's played on. Yet to confirm whatever night it's played on. But
we'll have to sneak an interview somehow, won't we, and get told off again.
We'll get told off. Although we're out the country, counted for out the country. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, out the country. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But yeah, listen, Ken, thanks for coming on, mate. It's been absolutely superb. I just want to say a big thank you again to CJ and Dan. I mean, to take their time out to, chat with us about what it's like in Qatar is absolutely superb. So thanks, guys. Thanks for everyone that's been watching and listening. Superb stuff. Really, really appreciate it. It's so good, all the interaction with the questions and everything. It's just fantastic. Please like and subscribe. Please share. And listen, don't forget our new sponsor. Yeah, our new partner, www.neonnow.co.uk. If you put in the code at the checkout, Sky Blue Fans TV initials 10, then you will get a discount on any product on their website. That is any product. So not just football related, not just Coventry City related. That is every single product on their website. So it's weddings, birthdays, or anything like that. So use the code SBFTV10 and you'll get your discount on anything. I'm going to leave you for tonight. And thanks again, Ken. I've been Milesy, Sky Blue Fans TV. We'll leave you with our new sponsors advert and we'll see you soon. Take care, play up Sky Blues and come on England.
Good night.